a podcast hosted by Joe Dietrich, Joe on the mic, Leader Talk. All right, guys, we're back, and man, happy new year. We're in 2023. Wow, 2022 went and came so quickly. And you know what? It was a challenging year, but also a blessed year full of God's wisdom and grace in it. And I'm so glad to have my first guest is Carla Jennings. And we met like 2 years ago in I was at Myrtle Beach, I think it was, at the
Yeah.
Grace Conference. And we met your husband. He's so awesome, Dr.
Yeah.
Al Jennings. You guys are just full of God's wisdom and grace. When we met you guys, he's just full of his passion and his joy. Then I found out, I was like, oh, Carla is a fitness person. She knows about fitness, and she knows about, getting fit and doing it the right way and doing it with joy, doing it with God's grace in it. And before we get started, let me introduce her. My guest is Carla Jennings, is a wife at 40 years married.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. A
Thank you.
mother of five, grandmother of three, business owner over 11 years, and with her husband, pastor Dr. Jennings, the second. She has been pastoring an exciting and life-changing work with her husband at Summit Church in Fort Wayne, Indiana for 38 years. That's super awesome. It has been a thrilling and pioneering experience. Carla is also an author of her first book, Is God in the Bathroom? Okay, we got to know more about that later. As the owner of Fit for You Studio, located in downtown Fort Wayne, her passion for fitness and health is both contagious and evident. Carla has helped countless ladies transform their lives. She has taken her services outside her studio to organizations such as Easter Seals Arc, East Allen Community Schools, Boys and Girls Clubs. I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. Elwyn Wilson Community Center.
You. Oh gosh, I would.
Yule Wilson Community Center. Yeah. I know it's like one of those words. Like, is that French or what is going on there? It says Carla is involved in her community and is active in the Fort for Fitness and Three Rivers Yoga Foundation, where she serves on the board. And it's her desire to help her city and abroad get fit for you. Welcome, Carla.
Hey, thanks for Joe. This is exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, for you, just for our audience, what is fit for you mean to you?
So, as we all know, there's so many. There's just like tons of things, fitness things that, from walking to jogging, bike riding, swimming. There's all sorts of ways that we can incorporate fitness in our lives. And there's no cookie cut thing that says, hey, this is what, you gotta do. No, you find what is fit for you and you do it. And that's it, because it has to work for you. It has to be something that keeps you going, that pushes you. You can't do something else necessarily because your friend is doing it. Sometimes that can work, but if it's not registering to you and helping you and benefiting you, then you'll drop off. And so I always just encourage people, find what it is that you can stick to and do it. And that is how you'll get fit for you. And you may not stick, it may be something else that you find you like to do too. Like I like a plethora of things. I love just anything active. And so and I like trying different things. I like challenges. So it's not like one thing, and then to some people it's just maybe strength training that they just want to do. So it's just, that's what fit for you means to me.
Okay. No, and that's good because we're at the beginning of the year. And we know what happens at the beginning of the year. People make resolutions and I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna lose 5 pounds, or I'm gonna start actually going to the gym because I've been paying that membership for over a year and I've been investing in them, but I haven't invested in myself. And I wanted to bring you on to not only to find out about what you do, but also how you can encourage the audience. Like, okay, you made that resolution, okay, and how can you what are some tips you can give them to, like, all right, I made a resolution and how can I stick with it? And I think you kind of alluded to that in your intro here, But how can you encourage our folks to like, hey, take some of these steps and you can stay on track for that resolution?
Yeah, that's a great question. And many people face that. So first of all, know that you are important, and that know your why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it for a season, or this is something that you really want to create as a lifestyle? And with the latter being the case, or wanting to be the case, then take one day at a time, because you didn't get there overnight, and changes aren't going to happen overnight. So you got to be okay with the process. And then when you take on that one day at a time mentality, then that's giving yourself grace. Because if you are trying to look down the road and want to be where you're not, you won't enjoy the journey, and you'll try to rush the process with diets and fads and all these other things that you feel is going to get you there quicker. So, and it could get you there quicker, but it'll be harder to maintain. So I would say, first of all, take one day at a time, get a plan, and stick to that plan. And then you can adjust that plan, because every day is different. Every day is not going to show up. One day it may be a knock the ball out of the park day, and you feel really good about your workout, and you're like, wow. And the next day, your body, it may be just recovering from that workout, and then you just may not feel the same way, and so may not bring the same energy. But go anyways and show up. And even if it's 10 minutes of what you have versus it was 45 yesterday, yesterday's gone. So just give what you have today and just be consistent, because consistency is the key. So just stay consistent. Even if you have to do something at home, sometimes going to the gym or a studio may require more time than you have. So don't just say, oh, I can't make it, so I'm not going to do anything. No, just because you have the mentality of your why, let that keep coming back up, my why, then I'm going to do something. Even if I have to download something or get on YouTube, I'm going to do something. And it may not reflect what your program or plan is, but it does reflect your consistency.
No, that is so good, because in life, in anything that we do, it requires some consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, we for when I worked 9 to 5, I had to be consistent going going to work, or I wasn't going to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
And I think I sometimes this happens, that people think that they can't do it, they can't be consistent.
Yeah.
But if you reflect on life, you do things consistently.
Yeah.
It's just applying that consistency, like, well, I get up every day, I do this every single day, every week. Why can't I do that for myself?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes back to what you were saying, your value. You said that
Yeah.
earlier, your value.
Yeah.
And if we value ourselves, for one, a lot of people don't. And
Mm-hmm.
we've seen that, just for in lifestyles and what people do, and sometimes how they eat, and they don't value themselves too much, and then they don't look at it, that investment, like your health is your investment for the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
And knowing your why, can you give us a little bit of an example of what the knowing your why is for our audience? Because a lot of coaches, I'm a coach, and there's other coaches out there, gurus, who say you got to know your why, so you
Yeah.
can do that thing. And can you, like, for in the fitness realm, and some of your students that you got, and I don't want, you don't have to name names, to protect the
Yeah.
innocent, but
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the whys that can motivate our audience to say, you know what, this is, I need to take that step. I need to go that extra mile because of this why.
Yeah. So let's say, for instance, I have the ages of my clients range from college students to great grandmas. I have some 75-year-olds. So let's say a mom in her 40s, and she's just starting to. There's two things here. She's just starting to take care of herself. Let's say she's a consultant for designing. And so there's a lot of moving around in and out, but she also have grandkids, right? And so she shows up because she knows, number one, is her why is to be the best designer there is, and she wants to do that with energy. And then she also knows that she wants to be healthy, to get down on the floor with her kids, with her grandkids. And so, but her, her number one why first is herself. Like, why? Because I want to be my best healthy self so that I can do my purpose. So it's like, what is your purpose in life? And because you know what that is, then in order to do it to the best of your ability, you have to have a desire to want to take care of yourself so that you can do it the best possible way, and trusting the Holy Spirit, because there are times our bodies will get fatigued, we'll get tired, mentally and
Yeah.
emotional. All those things plays a part, right? And that's where, as a believer, what makes it so amazing to do what we're called to do is like that supernatural strength kicks in. Just that ability, the joy of the Lord is our strength. Those things begin to, when we tap into them, those things will show up in our lives when we need them most, because we can't do it in and of ourselves. Like it's today has been, today is 11 years in business.
Awesome.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. It's been the grace of God, and then me applying the knowledge that I know and doing those things. But there are times that, even like right now, there's a situation like, Lord, I'm trusting you, right? And so, but I continue to do what I know to do. And then in the natural, and trust him to do the things that I cannot do. And so, but because I know my why, I'll just continue doing those things, and then the other things will fall in line. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Because it goes back to, what is your motivation,
Yeah.
right? And I love having you on, because we're giving people an opportunity to say, look, don't wait until you're 70 years of age to realize, man, I need to have better physical fitness for myself so I can live that life of purpose that God purposed me to
Yeah.
the fullest. For me, I'll be hitting 50 years of age next month. And I'm realizing even more now today that, man, while I was in the military, we were exercising, right? and
Yeah.
we were forced to exercise, and I saw the benefits of it even now more than ever that I'm out of the military after serving.
Mm-hmm.
How important exercise is, because when I dropped my exercise and I started to try to do things, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow,
Yeah.
that my body was not as fit. My mind was thinking, yeah, I'm still fit like I was a couple of years ago. But
Yeah.
when I tried to do it, my body was like, no, no,
Yeah.
no. And I was like, oh my gosh. I said, and then I was like, you know what? I need to continue my exercise. I need,
Mm-hmm.
whether for me, just for me,
Yeah.
is 10 minutes a day,
Yep.
doing some sort of cardiovascular and muscular fitness to keep my body in shape, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And then what we were talking about earlier before the broadcast, we saw a report that from the American Pediatric Society that children, the obesity rate, this is what they said in 2020. We all know what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
The obesity rate for children doubled. It doubled.
Yeah.
And then now they're recommending that children at the age of 12, instead of like, hey, exercise, eat
Yeah.
better, they're like, no, we're going to recommend, because we can't control this and it's getting out of hand, that we're going to allow children at the age of 12 to get drugs and surgery to control obesity.
Wow.
And I was
That's
like, wow. I mean, what are your comments about that, Carla?
Yeah, that's really a sad scenario, and it could be changed. I believe because we as parents, we're setting the example, and I know that there's such thing as food deserts. And I know there's such things as, one parent home where parents are doing their best to provide food. And then sometimes it's getting them to the next place, so they stop and do the quickest thing, as far as, fast food, and those things are real. And my heart goes out to parents that, have to do that, or have been put in that position, right? And so it's still, we have to evaluate as parents and say, what could I do better? How can I do this better? And just desire to want to make better choices. Because I believe, as believers, when we, again, do what we can do in the natural, God will do supernatural things. He can, cause situations to turn around for us in those places that we feel like we're in food deserts, or we're needing help as a single parent mom. Because when we want the health of our child to be better, it's like, that's something we take to the Lord. Lord, how can I, because then you're not trying to do it in and of yourself. Right? Because you can't, to raise a child by yourself and not be able to have the right means for them to live a healthy life. So I would start with encouraging the parents, want more for your child, and take that to the Lord, and then do your best to be the example of what that should look like. And then have conversations. I think, for sure, have conversations with the children about that. I think because kids are very big visual learners. And if you can show them like different things that are happening, like this is food A and this is food B. This food is going to give us what we need and give us energy. And later, if we keep eating food B, then our bodies are going to look like this, or we will invite things into our bodies that our bodies were never intended to have. So, and let the children start making choices too, because they're smart and they understand. If you could keep putting Doritos and hot chips and sodas in front of them, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. So it's like involving the kids, letting them know the consequences of these things, and then just day by day, one day at a time, start talking about those healthy choices, and then commend them when they make healthy choices. Like, that was awesome, you made that. And so, you know what, I bet you're going to feel better, because a lot of times, even as adults, we don't understand the association of food, like or what it's intended for. It's intended to give us energy or fuel. Of course, there can be satisfaction in it. It doesn't have to be something horrible and taste crazy. But the number one is to fuel our bodies, and then, we tend to, and I've been there too, like using it as an emotional pill or, comfort food. And I love chocolate, and I tend to use that as right? It's one of my go-to for my celebration moments. And so, but then I know I have to say, okay, I'm going to hold that celebration off for that chocolate, especially like coming off of the holidays and things like that. So, yeah, just with the children, I believe parents could play a larger part as far as having conversation with them, showing them, giving them A and B, and talk about it. Yeah. And even sharing that piece of information right there that you just talked about, that's alarming.
Yeah, it is. And one of the things that I truly, and I love having you on here about this, is that people need resources.
Yeah.
And you are a valuable resource for parents that want to make a change, or even young adults that want to make a change and go in the right direction. Because in our conversation earlier, you mentioned this, and it's big. It's not about telling people that they're bad or anything else like that. It's just a course correction, because there's no condemnation in saying, all right, look, obesity is a problem. You may be obese. It's not about condemnation, because there is no condemnation, therefore, in Christ Jesus anymore. There is encouragement. They're
Yeah.
spurring people on
Mm-hmm.
to the next level, to glory in Christ Jesus. And Carla is making herself available for folks out there that, hey, I want to get my health better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what, when your health gets better, you could think more clearly upon the
Yeah.
goodness and the grace and the blessings that God has given you, because you're not having to worry about being sick, worry about being tired, because it is, food does give us energy, but it also can make us lethargic.
Yeah.
It can also make us, and that's where inflammation, and we can go deep diving into that, into
Yeah.
inflammation and everything else like that. But as for myself, I'm not speaking from a point where I didn't know anything about fitness, and I'm just trying to throw it out there. Yeah, because of the military, I found out there's a lot of different ways to get fit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's by exercise and eating right.
Yeah. And
You
it
know,
actually, Joe, eating is 80% of it.
mm-hmm.
Um, of course, the exercise part is important, but the food is just as important. And so this is what some people do, in which start wherever you need to start. Some people will just do the correct their eating and not work out,
Oh yeah,
right?
wow.
That's where you need to start. That's great. However, the workout is so important because you want a healthy heart. And one of the ways you
Mm.
get a healthy heart is you have to exercise the heart muscle, because that muscle, the heart is a muscle. And so you have to get it pumping and work it so that you can have a strong heart. The eating part is amazing and that's great. And then in fact, that'll take some of the weight off so you'll feel better of when you exercise and do cardio. And cardio doesn't have to be jumping up and down and sprints. It could be just simple raising our arms, get our heart rate up. I'll share a lot of chair exercises where women that aren't able to get on the floor or maybe have knee issues, then you get fit from your seat. You can do things there. So there's all kind of ways. I have this thing called furniture workout. Like, you don't have to go to a gym or studio. Just um, desire to want to be healthier, not skinny, healthier. And like I mentioned to you before when we were getting ready to come on, it's like, as we shoot to be healthy, the weight goes off, what the excess weight, because everyone is not built to be a small structure. There's so many different body types. However, excess weight is excess weight on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So as we shoot and do those things that'll cause us to be healthier, the excess weight has to go, right? And so it is kind of, I was talking about how when you're getting healthy as an individual and you're working on that, the smallness of whatever your size is will come with it. It's like the wet with
Mm.
the water. You can't have the wet without the water. And so if you're healthy, you're going to be the right size you need to be.
Mm. That's super awesome. And it all goes to, like as you were saying before we came on, it's like everybody has their own way of getting fit, and
Yeah.
it's just finding out what that is for
Yeah.
you to get fit for you.
Yeah.
And for your type of your body type, and I'm glad you mentioned it too, because each body type is different.
Mm-hmm.
Some people actually lose weight faster than others.
Yeah.
And so
Especially men.
yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
I had a friend that, he could just breathe and he loses weight. I'm like, come on, brother. And I have to exercise like for weeks
Mm-hmm.
to just reduce the fat in certain areas, and to get, but once I get there with a commitment to the process
Mm-hmm.
and knowing what works for me and not overdoing it, I can get there and I can stay there and I can maintain there, which is
Yeah.
super awesome. So, Carla, before we go, I want to make sure that everybody can find out how to reach out to you, find out more what you're doing, and
Okay.
if you have any offers out there, please let us know where they can find you.
So I have an online program. It's called Fit for You Friends, and it's a way of me reaching out to people away from my city, that people that have said over the years, "Hey, I would love to work out with you," and this was before all of this was a thing. And so But now I actually just dropped it last October. The Fit for You Friend, you can go to carlajennings.com and sign up for that. That's $57 a month, and you get downloads and some other great things. And you can Zoom in live once a week, and I go over form and things like that. So it's really a great opportunity for those who don't want to go to the gym or a studio or live far away. So that's available. I also put out several types of workouts on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook. So on my Facebook fan page is the Fit for You !2. And on Facebook, I am Carla Jennings. And on TikTok, I am Carla S. Jennings. And then that's the same as my Instagram platform.
Awesome. And guys, it's all down below in the description below if you want to check her out. And it's Carla Jennings with 2 N's and Jennings.com. And check her out, guys, because look, fitness is a lifestyle. And in doing that and having people like Carla in your corner, in your community, in your sphere of influence, will help you in that commitment to be physically fit, to gain health, because it's not just a one-time thing out of the year. Yeah. Fitness is a lifestyle, and it can be a fun lifestyle. It can be an energetic lifestyle, and it could be a lifestyle of actually eating tasty food. Yeah, because my wife and I, we come up with different tasty dishes, because we eat organically. I'm not telling people to eat organically, but there's a clean way of eating. Even if you're in a food desert, there's ways to find different foods that are out there, because when we grew up and we in a small town and everything else, and there's ways to get healthy foods. It's just having like a Carla in your corner to say, all right, hey, these are some of the things that you can do to add to your your kitchen and into your meals or whatever the case may be, and eat healthier. And like I said, and celebrate it. So when you can pass it on to your children, they know that, hey, this is the way to eat healthy. And it doesn't mean like she said, she loves chocolate. I love chocolate too. You know what I'm saying? And we do little celebrations of little chocolate, chocolates and stuff like that. And and you can still get like little desserts, healthy desserts, but don't go crazy with it like I used to do back in the day. Moderation. I was like, you just keep on eating it, and like, oh, my workout just like went nowhere because I just threw down on some dessert here. So there's a balance. But Carla, before we head out, do you have any last words for our audience that you want to that's on your heart, that's tugging at you to share with them?
Before I go there, you did mention you wanted to know about the what was that book title?
Oh yeah, about? The book, yes.
Yeah. So real quick, so it's called "Is God in the Bathroom?" and it's really it's a children's book, and it's teaching children that no matter what they've done, no matter where they are, God is in the stinky places of our lives. And so it was based off an example of something that happened with our kids or my son, and I just kind of took it, and it's a character building series. I have not finished. Is God in the mud puddle? Is God in the cookie jar? But it's just letting kids know that God is there, and no matter what, He loves you, and He's there, and He's even in the bathroom. So that's what that's about. So
yeah, that's good.
But so my final words of encouragement is, first of all, be your own best friend. We always tell our best friends or our girl or a boy, we were like, oh, you can do it, you're awesome, but we don't tell ourselves that. So be your own best friend. Put yourself on your schedule. We schedule everything, our doctor's appointments, our lunch engagements, and all of that. Schedule you. You are just as important as that doctor's appointment. And if we see the importance of taking care of others, If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. So having that mindset, and it's not, especially moms and wives, it's not being selfish at all. It's just allowing yourself to develop into your best you, right? So it's not being selfish whatsoever. Start with some simple things. Watch your water intake. If you're not drinking at least half of your body weight in water, start shooting for that. I had a gal that was over 300 pounds. So that would have been, I think maybe even 350 she weighed, but so we were shooting for half of the body weight, which would have been 175 ounces. Now, we never reached that, but here's the beauty. As she made that her goal, she would get closer and closer, because as she incorporated the workout, the weight was going down. So we never really had to hit 175. We were shooting for it. We did have to go for it, but we didn't make it. But as the weight went down, so did the ounces of water needed. So then it was a process that she continued with, that eventually she hit her water weight. You know what I'm saying? So it's starting, no matter what, just start somewhere, and don't say all or nothing. Start somewhere. And because that's just putting on yourself undue pressure. You know, it's like, even like at the beginning of the year, when people set these big goals of, you know, losing weight in 2 months, right? Okay, that can be accomplished, but that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. Yeah. Just commit to showing up. Like, I'm going to show up every day, no matter what it looks like. Even if it's 1 minute, I'm going to show up. Even if I walk in that gym and I walk back out, I showed up. And it's a mental thing. You have to exercise and discipline your mindset, because your mindset will keep saying you can't do it. You fell before, you turned around, you gave up. Just keep showing up.
Amen. Man, that's a mic drop right there. Just show up. Yeah. Yes.
And I want to do this, because some people don't believe it. I'm 61 and I just forget my age. I do. A lot of times I forget my age, because I mean, what is that supposed to feel like? I don't know, but I know I am. I'm not denying that I'm that. I'm just saying I don't let that define me or stop me.
Come on. Yeah. And this is the example of keeping your fitness. And I know one of my pastors, he's like, he's 62, that I watch online from a distance, and he's my mentor. And yeah, he's still like going to the gym, showing off his strength by putting some handcuffs on and just busting them out like that. Wow. I'm like, that's what I want to be when I'm 62. I'm not even 50 yet. I can't even bust out of handcuffs. So, you know, I have a goal to reach right now. You know, that's you know, to get physically fit. And so, like Caleb, I always remind people of this story. When Caleb, after they crossed the Jordan, before they crossed, he was like 40 something years of age. But after they crossed, he was almost in his 80s, and they had to take the land. And he told Joshua, when he was going to take his land, he's like, look, let me get that mountain there. I still have the strength as when I was 40 years old, and he was 80 at the time.
Right.
And I was like, that is where I want to be. And if I reach 80, then I want to be that, like, hey, I want to take that mountain. I still have that energy. I still have that strength. And that's where Carla wants you guys to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it is achievable.
Yes, it is. It really is.
It is achievable. And I like the way you said it. Just show up.
Yeah.
You know, just show up each and every day, taking those steps, and you'll get there. You'll get there. So God, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for blessing us with your time and effort. And look, showing us at age 61, you can still kick butt and take names. You know, and have a fit for you and contribute in such a way to where you can still be with your family and loved ones and have the energy and the excitement to do things with them, and not say, oh, I can't do that because I don't have the energy, or I'm not strong enough.
God will help you. Just have the want to, and God will help you.
Amen. Amen. Well, guys, thank you for coming on and listening to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and visit carlajennings.com to check out her different offerings, and to subscribe to her, I would say, and so when she publishes her book, you can get a copy of that book. I'm excited for that. It sounds great. And guys, have, like I always tell people, have a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life each and every day. And God bless you guys.
God bless.
So hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast and share this podcast, because you need to get leadership tips out there, and have a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life each and every day. Hey, if you want to find out more about what I do, go to joedietrich.com. Go to joedietrich.com and see what we're up to. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.